Hello, sup Trails anyone. We're back at the Porcupine Mountains. This time we'll be starting at Summit Peak and go check that out and camp at Mirror Lake tonight. Our Summit Peak Tower Trail. The tower's a half mile from here. Mirror Lake's 2.5 miles. So it's a short distance to our campsite. And of course, actually we're on the north end of Mirror Lake. Campsite number 2 we'll be staying at tonight. Well, it's late August. I believe it's August 24th. It's a nice day, mid-70s. So far, very few bugs. Hopefully that holds up true for the whole trip. Now we're coming up to some stairs. These will lead up to the tower. And then I believe right next to the tower, this trail will continue on down to the South Mirror Lake Trail. And before we go up to the tower, we'll check out this observation deck. You get some nice views right here. Hard to see, but Lake Superior off in the distance. And the fall is beautiful right here. You see a couple of fall leaves coming out right there. Alright, we reached the Summit Peak Tower. Drop our packs here and take a little climb up to the top and check out the views. And this will be the top of the tower. Get some of the views. If you can see, it's Lake Superior over there. Some of the smaller mountains. Still 1,958 feet up here on this highest point in the Porkies. Look over there, Government Peak. At least somewhere down there is Mirror Lake. We're now going to be leaving the tower at Summit Peak. And we'll be taking this trail to Mirror Lake. This will actually be our first time ever on this short little part of the trail from the tower to the Mirror Lake Trail. And just past a sign that said a steep grade coming up. So we'll have to see what that looks like. Well, it's definitely a steep grade. I mean, we've seen worse. I don't think I want to be climbing up it.
You've done it before.
Not this trail. We're just past that junction, and we're just a little over 1.5 miles to Mirror Lake. So this can make a nice, easy, relaxing, short hiking weekend for us. It's only a little over a 5-mile loop total. Of course, Mirror Lake is one of our favorites. It's been a while since we camped on Mirror Lake, so it'd be nice to go there again. Or sometimes some people say, why such short hiking distance? Backpacking trips.
We busted our humps at work all week, maybe.
Yeah, and plus we've done all the trails here. We've seen all of the scenic areas, almost all the 90 miles of trails. So there's really no reason to make a long hiking loop of 20 miles or so. So just make a short, relaxing weekend trip is all we needed. So.
Yeah, if it were a new area, it'd be different. But
right. And right here, we have doll's eyes.
Appropriate for the Halloween season coming
Right.
up.
Remember Andrew's talking about those being poisonous, so you definitely don't want to eat them. Now we'll continue back on our trail. We're now coming up to Mirror Lake. There's some campsites this way, but that's not going to be our campsites. We'll be going this direction and across this little bridge over here, and we'll be on the north end of the lake. The water is low. There's also, I think, 3 cabins on Mirror Lake. You can rent them, fire pit, and each cabin will have a boat or a canoe. Our campsite should be just down here somewhere. The campsite up on top of this hill. You see the North Mirror Lake Trail sign. And this will be campsite number 2. So we'll be making this our home for the night. Looks like a nice open area. Most of the trees above us look good. And I don't see any dead limbs, or not very many. There's one dead tree right there, I guess, but it's far enough away. Fire pit's over here. And it's right next to the lake. Oh, we'll go check out the lake. See what kind of trail we got going down to it. Look at the size of this huge tree. One tree is dead and broke off. See it hanging up in those trees right there. And you gotta check this out. Someone drew on this tree. Snoopy. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And another little dog underneath it. Okay. Now we'll check out the lake. There's a nice path down here. Oh, this is nice. Get a beautiful view of the lake. Very little wind today. It's calm. And there's other campsites that we stayed in the past right on that side of the lake. And I have a frog right over here. Definitely a lot of frogs around here. You see some minnows swimming around. Oh, there's just cool rock out here in the lake. As you can see, we started setting up our zpacks duplex tent. Getting sleeping pads ready to climb it. And my one new item here is my bear bag from Hilltop Packs. This is Up Trail 71. Has free falls and pictured rocks on it. That's from one of our fall trips from a few years ago. So that looks nice. Well, I was thinking about having this classic spaghetti and meat sauce dinner, but changed my mind and we're just gonna share this mac and cheese. He's boiling up some water, and what's your idea? Mix some Doritos in it?
Sprinkle them on top.
That works for me. Did you get your water in yet? No.
No, it's not. It's almost there. I wouldn't call it a rapid boil, but...
No. As long as it's hot, it's all you really need. It looks like she's just about ready, but she'll still have to add it to that package and let it, rehydrate for at least 10 minutes, maybe closer to 15 minutes. So in the meantime, we'll go look for some firewood around here. And we'll look for a little firewood. Decided to take a quick walk. Mirror Lake campsite number 3. It's a little ways away from ours, not too far. It's private. Nice little spot here. Very nice spot. Nice view of the lake. Yeah, I'd say this is better of the two campsites, but the campsite we have is also nice. Well, I got a few sticks and branches to start out our fire. You see some other people left some paper already in there. A few pieces of wood right there. Okay, let's take a look at our Backpacker's Pantry mac and cheese. Got the Doritos Cool Ranch mix into it.
Creativity. 3 cheese and macaroni with Cool Ranch Doritos on top.
I can't wait to try that.
Yep.
Well, let's give this a try. Yeah, it tastes good together.
I've tasted better macaroni, to be honest.
Yeah, the macaroni's not the best. Kind of plainer, but it works. The Doritos definitely added a little extra to it. I'm walking just a little ways away from the campsite. And I come up to what looks like a newer privy setup they have here. Yeah, look at this. With the most basic setup you'll ever find. But I guess if it works, that's all that really matters. A little chipmunk. Checking us out around here. Look for scraps. And like I've mentioned in many of my past videos, the Porcupine Mountains has these bear poles and a bar right there with a hook on it, and you hang up your bear bag. I see the sun is starting to set. It'll be setting within 2 hours. Yeah, our trail to leave the campsite goes this way. We're going to go filter some water for tonight and tomorrow morning. There is a little stream down here, but the water's running slow, so we're going to go to the next stream. Ah, look what Kathy spotted in here. Some nice blackberries. That'd go good for breakfast, for a little snack. Some more back there.
Martyr, non-martyr.
That's a good spot to get water. Might take a little while, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Does that really filter that quickly?
Okay, we're going to attempt to make a fire. Should have no problem. It's all fairly dry. Well, it looks like we got a nice little fire started. Keep adding a little more small things to it, twigs and stuff. Then we got a couple of bigger ones we'll just add on later. Now we're just kicking back and enjoying this fire for a little while. But first I'm going to go take another walk down by this Mirror Lake, since it's so close to our campsite. That's Peaceful Lake. They call it Mirror Lake because you get a really nice reflection off the water, especially when there's no waves at all. Right now I don't see any boats at all. A few minimal waves, slight breeze. I'd like to rent one of those cabins someday. I'm not sure what the cost is, $65 maybe for a night. But you can use one of those little boats, paddle around out here. I think you can fish. I have to double check on that, but I believe you're allowed to fish this lake. The sun already set. We couldn't really see the sunset from here because it set in the direction of those trees over there. Well, like I said, I think we're going to kick back and enjoy the fire for maybe another half hour or so. Then we're going to jump into our tent and see you in the morning. Good night. Good morning. Well, it wasn't my best night's sleep, that's for sure. Show you what happened last night. My sleeping pad, the Climate sleeping pad, went flat. So I slept on a nice hard ground. At least the ground stayed fairly warm, so it wasn't cold. Then of course you feel a few little roots underneath, and so my Climate sleeping pad failed. Actually, immediately it failed last night. This is what it should look like. Of course, Kathy's still nice and comfy in her spot right there. But I'm going to get my food bag and make myself a quick little breakfast right now. Well, before I go and grab my food, I'm going to go check out the lake. It's a beautiful morning, the sun's out. Now this morning I did hear some trumpeter swans out here. I don't see them right now, but they are noisy. And you can see where the sun is starting to rise right over here. And one thing that makes this lake a little special is that it's the highest lake in elevation in the entire state of Michigan from what I read. I'm not sure exactly what the elevation is. As you probably already guessed, it's just one of my boring old mountain house meals. There's a scrambled eggs and bacon. That's decent. So I'll cook that up for a quick breakfast, and then we'll start breaking down our tent in a little while. Now, as far as my little alcohol stove that you've seen me using, I've been using that for I'm guessing around 7 years now. Before that I used the zpacks cubes. Those things smelled really bad though. They work good but smelled bad. They're good in high elevations compared to like alcohol. If in like high elevations or colder weather, alcohol doesn't work the best. So that's one option. Well, it looks like we got everything all cleaned up very good. And I'll be getting on the trail. And we're getting one last look at Mirror Lake before we head into the woods. You see a few fall colors on some of these trees. Here we come up to a junction, South Mirror Lake Trail. That's where we came yesterday, across that little bridge. Now we're going to go on Little Cup River Trail. See, it's a Summit Peak loop. That's what we're doing. It's a 5-mile loop, and then our campsite is on our side of the lake, so that's at least another half-mile. So it's a 6-mile loop for us.
1 mile.
We're going to be completing a Summit Peak loop here very soon. We got to turn left on the Beaver Creek Trail.
1 mile.
If we continue on this trail, it goes to the Lily Pond. That's only a mile away. But we're going to take this Beaver Creek Trail right now. I'm not sure. This could be our first time on this trail. I don't really remember it. So we'll get to see what it looks like. At least this part of the trail. It's about a 1-mile stretch. Yeah, we're only out in the sun for a little bit. So that cool area. That boardwalk has to be one of the longest I've ever walked on going through the woods. That went a long ways. Now we should be coming up to the Beaver Creek. So you can take a look at that. And this is Beaver Creek. It looks like the beavers made a dam right there. And Mirror Lake's in that direction, so this water is coming from Mirror Lake. And then Lily Pond is right over in that direction. Yeah, this trail's actually kind of neat. It runs right along this little stream. Of course, the water level is way down right now, but still really pretty. It's a nice little loop. Well, now we can see the parking lot from here. So this just about concludes our trip around the Mirror Lake Summit Peak. It's a 5-mile moderate hike for a loop. And it was total 6 miles for us because we were on the other side of the lake, like I mentioned before. But it's another fun adventure. Of course, my night's sleep wasn't the best with my climate sleeping plaid springing a leak. So I had to sleep on the ground all night. But other than that, still a nice trip, good weather. And we'll catch you in the next adventure. Thanks for watching. Up Trail 71. And of course we gotta make a last stop along Lake Superior. Nice little beach area. Of course, look at all these cool rocks in there.